Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to today's video. So today I'm bringing you part 2 of an Exante tips and tricks video. So I did this video probably almost a year ago, either in May or June last year, and it went down so well with you guys and I got so many messages and so many comments about this video that I thought I would do a part 2. Now that I am way into the Exante diet, I've learned so much more about what you can do with the packs that I thought I would do a part 2 of this video. So with that said, if you do want to go ahead to the Exante website and get yourself some stuff, then I will leave the link to the Exante website in the description box below, and you can also use the code EXANTELOU to get yourself 35% off the majority of the products. There are a couple of things that it's not valid on, but pretty much everything you can get 35% off. So before we do move on, I just want to say I'm going to be talking about calories, I'm going to be talking about calorie counting. So if you have an unhealthy relationship with food, or you are not great at listening to people talking about calories, then maybe this video isn't for you. Like I said, it's going to be very calorie orientated, so yeah, just if that's not for you, or it's going to trigger you or anything, trigger any eating habits or anything like that, then probably don't watch this video. And also I will state that in this video I'm going to be telling you how to make things out of the Exante products. Obviously we're going to be adding calories onto the amount already, so pretty much all of the packs are 200 calories each. We are going to be adding calories onto that, so just bear that in mind. If you're using these products at home and you're using these tips at home, then you are going to be adding calories onto the existing amount, which I think is obvious, but I just thought I'd put it out there. Adding stuff onto your products is going to add more calories, and if you are calorie counting to the dot and really strictly, then you do need to add every single calorie on top. So yeah, with all that said, let's get on with the video. So the first tip that I'm going to share with you, I actually learned from a woman called Kate. Now, Kate's Instagram is Kate's Losing It, and she's also got a YouTube channel which I think is also Kate's Losing It. Kate is an inspiration. She's lost so much weight. I think she's lost over 10 stone now using Exante. She's absolutely incredible, and I actually learned this tip from her. So what you're going to need for this hack is 2 packets of shake. I would recommend using a fruitier shake, maybe the mango, strawberry or the banana. You can use another one if you fancy the chocolate or the chocolate orange. It's completely up to you which one you fancy using. I just personally think it tastes better using the fruity shakes. You're also going to need 1 packet of gelatin. I'd recommend the powdered gelatin. It's just easier to work with than the leaves. And then you're also going to use 500 ml of boiling water. So essentially what you're going to end up with is some sort of jelly-like thing. It's a little bit like jelly but not jelly. I don't really know how to describe it, but they're super yummy. So what you need to do is get 500 ml of boiling water, pop it in a bowl, or I'd recommend like a glass, I think the word is Pyrex, I think it's a glass Pyrex jug. I'd recommend using one of those. Pop 500 ml of boiling water in there, add 1 full sachet of powdered gelatin, and then whisk it in really well so that all your gelatin is dissolved. And then what you want to do is add your 2 packs of shake into the dissolved gelatin mix. So you'll have 500 ml of water, sachet of gelatin, and then 2 packets of your shake mix. Give it all a really good whisk together. Once that's all whisked up, you then want to pour it into a jar or whatever you want to pour your mixture into. I got some really cheap jars from the range. They're about this big, and I think they're about 79p each, and they're just the perfect little size for these little jelly cup things. So I know that roughly in that mix is about 400 to 450 calories. I'm not actually sure how many calories are in gelatin. So if I just want to make these into little snack pots, then I use 4 jars and I spread it out equally. And then I know that in those 4 jars there's about 100 calories in each. If I want to fill them up a little bit fuller and have them, say, for breakfast or something like that, then I will use 3 jars and fill them up a little bit fuller. Then what you're going to do is leave them on the side to cool down, and then once they've cooled on the side, pop them in the fridge and they'll set nicely. This is just a super handy tip, because then they're just in the fridge and they're just ready for you to eat. I find them really refreshing and really nice to have as breakfast. It's just something a little bit different, but yeah, it's a really good hack. Okay, so the next tip isn't really a tip, it's just sort of a, well, I guess it is a tip, but it's really simple. So all I'm going to say is with the bars, so they do a lot of different bars. They do cookies, they do flapjacks, loads of different things. All I'm going to say is put them in the microwave. If you're at home and you're going to have a bar, pop it in the microwave for 10 to 15 seconds and it will change your whole experience with the bar. they're so much more enjoyable when they've been in the microwave. So what I do is I just chop them into 4 or 5 pieces, pop it in the microwave, if I chop it up, I put it in for less time. So if I chop it up, I put it in for about 10 seconds, and they're just delicious, especially with the double chocolate cookies, because they've got chocolate chips in them. When you put them in the microwave, they just melt and you have like this delicious soft cookie. So yeah, tip number 2 is just pop your bars in the microwave. That's so much better. So my next tip is something I'm still working on. I'm still perfecting it, but I thought I would just include it in here as it's quite a big trend at the minute. So a lot of people at the minute are doing baked oats. So essentially porridge oats, liquid, chocolate chips, and then you put it in the oven and it just makes this really nice cakey, porridgey texture. So I thought I'd give it a try with the Exante products. So I used the golden syrup porridge. Now given the golden syrup porridge is sort of half oats, half powder, so it probably isn't the best thing to use for this. I think that the porridge pots might be better to use for this, but I didn't have any of those left. And what I did is I put the porridge mix into a bowl. I added about maybe 100 ml of water. I didn't measure it out, maybe like 70 to 100 ml of water. Mixed it together, and then I added 1 banana because I just think that baked oats are so much better when you've got a banana in there, because I just love banana. So yeah, I popped a banana in there, a very ripe banana, because then it adds the sweetness to it. And then what I did is I sort of mushed the banana in, so it was like a porridgey, banana-y, mushy texture. And I got an oven dish, probably about this big oven dish, and put some fry light in there to stop it sticking, and then put the mixture in. And then what I added was some of the Skinny Food like chocolate hazelnut spread. I put some of that in there as well because I love it. What you could do instead is you could put some cocoa powder in there, or you could sprinkle in a few dark chocolate chips, or you could sort of put anything in there you fancy really. I just needed to have some sort of chocolate in there because I'm a chocolate addict. So I put this in the oven for, I think I did 17 minutes, and it had sort of cooked around the outside and cooked a little bit in the middle, but it needed longer. As you'll see in the clip, it was quite a mushy texture, which I'm completely fine with the mushy texture. I don't mind it at all, but I know some people would prefer it to be a little bit more cakey. So I'd maybe say leave it in the oven for, do 20 minutes and then check on it. And if it needs longer, maybe do 25 and so on, just to see how it cooks. But with this, I found obviously it will add a few more calories, because if you're adding the banana, also add in any chocolate products that you fancy in there, it does add on calories quite easily. So what I'd recommend is maybe having this as a 400 calorie meal, having like product, and then this as sort of your tea or dinner, and making it a 400 calorie meal so you can just enjoy it to its fullest. But it's a super simple, easy meal which really does fill you up, and it's really sort of like warm and hearty and just really nice. So the next product is the fajita mix. So I do get a lot of questions on whether the fajita mix is worth it, and if it's actually like fajita mix or if it's just sort of pretending to be fajita. So the fajita mix is one of the savoury products that is most like the real thing in real life, if that makes sense. So in the fajita mix you get the fajita packet, and you also get the chicken sauce packet. I personally really love the taste of both of them. I think they work really nicely together. So with the fajita mix, what you have to do is add a certain amount of water to your fajita packet. I can't remember how much it is. It's either 30, 50 or 70 ml. I can't remember which one, but you add that amount of water to your fajita mix, and then you put it in a bowl, mix it together, and then you knead it. You knead the mix, and then you leave it to rest for 5 minutes. So once it's been resting for 5 minutes, get yourself 2 sheets of greaseproof paper, one on the bottom, and then you can always sprinkle just a tiny little bit of flour just to make sure it doesn't stick. Put your dough in the middle, put your other sheet on top, and then sort of roll the dough with a rolling pin in between the 2 sheets of paper, and you just get an easy roll doing it that way. What I will say is that it will not be perfect. So as you'll see in the clip, my fajita dough is by no means fajita shaped or perfect or anything. I actually ripped it by accident. It's a bit jagged around the edges, and I just want to say, like, that is the reality of it. Obviously it's not going to be perfect because it's a meal replacement. So yeah, the fajita mix, it tastes amazing. It might not look the best, but yeah, that's just the reality of it. And the picture online, obviously the picture online has to look good because they want people to buy it. And I'm 99% sure that the picture online, they show it rolled up. I'm going to show you how I did mine, is that I don't roll it up. I personally just leave it flat and have the fajita flat with the sauce on top. I just think it's so much easier. Anyway, Once you've rolled it out, you then get your frying pan out. So I spray probably like 5 or 6 sprays of fry light in there. Put it on like a medium to high heat and then pop it in. And what you do is just leave it to cook, flip it over, leave it to cook. I flip it over a few times just to get a nice cook on both sides and to make sure it's cooked through in the middle. One thing I will say is make sure it's rolled out pretty thin because you want it to cook in the frying pan. And obviously if it's quite thick, it's going to take ages to cook and you might get burnt sides. So make sure it's nice and thin. And then while that's sort of doing its thing, frying away, I boil the kettle and make up the chicken sauce with boiling water, in which time the fajita's done and the sauce is ready at the same time. So then I take the fajita out of the pan, put it on a plate, spread my sauce on top. What I do is add some cheese and add rocket to it. I just feel like that is how I enjoy it. A little sprinkle of cheese and some rocket just tops it off for me. Obviously you can have it without, you can just have the fajita and the sauce, and that's your 200-ish calories and you're sorted, you're good to go. Obviously if you want to have it like that, then that is absolutely fine. If you do want to make it more of a meal, you can always add more toppings, so you can add some peppers, or some people add chicken to it as well. It's completely up to you how many calories you want to add on to that. But yeah, the reason that I included this is just because I wanted you to know that it does come out as a proper meal, like you can physically eat it. And I know that quite a lot of people struggle on this diet because it's not actual food that you physically eat, if that makes sense. Like for example, the savoury shepherd's pie and the savoury curry is just like a spoon meal, if that makes sense. Whereas this fajita, you can make it physically, so you can pick it up and you can eat it. Obviously you can roll it up like a fajita if you want to. It's just a little bit more difficult to do it that way because once your fajita's cooked in the pan, it goes quite like hard and crispy, which is why I just enjoy it as a flat fajita. So my next tip, similar to the last one, is the pizza mix. So I love the pizza mix so much. I think it tastes amazing. It's super like, sort of like Italian tasting, really herby, almost like a little bit olivey in taste. But it's super flavoursome. So if you want something with flavour, get the pizza mix. So like the pizza mix, it comes with the pizza mix and the sauce separately. So you've got pizza and you've got sauce. So what you do is mix your pizza dough with so much water. Again, it's either 30, 50 or 70, I can't remember. And then as you mix it, it will turn into like, without sounding horrible, it turns into like a slop. Yeah, the pizza dough doesn't go doughy, it goes a bit sloppy. So then what you need to do is once you've mixed in your water, get a tray, put some greaseproof paper on your tray. Make sure you use paper. Do not use foil, okay? Use greaseproof paper because if you use foil, it'll stick and it doesn't come off, basically. I've been there, I've done that, so use paper. So what you need to do is put some fry light. I use quite a lot of fry light, probably like 5 or 6 sprays because I don't want it to stick. I am like terrified it's gonna stick because once it's stuck on the foil and I can't get over that. So yeah, once you've got your greaseproof, you've got your fry light, you can pop on your pizza dough. So it will be really sloppy, and there's no way to really avoid that. You sort of slop it onto your paper and then take your time in like spreading it around. As you'll see in the clip of me making it, take your time in popping it around and take your time in getting a nice shape. And it can be frustrating because sometimes it doesn't go how you want it to, but honestly the more time you spend perfecting your shape, the better it's going to be. So anyway, once you've got your pizza shape, pop it in the oven for, I think it's about 12 minutes. Yeah, pop it in the oven for about 12 minutes. While that's in there, you can make up your sauce. So again, hot water into the sauce. So then I take the pizza base out of the oven after 12 minutes, put the sauce on, and then I always add cheese because I just can't live without cheese. So I add cheese on there. Again, it's completely up to you if you want to add calories or not. I tend to do it because I find it so much more enjoyable when there's some cheese on there. So yeah, I put some cheese, I put the sauce on, I put some cheese on, and I pop it back in the oven for another 2 minutes so that the sauce becomes sort of the same temperature as the base and then the cheese melts as well. Once it's all been in for 2 more minutes, I'll then take it out and then sprinkle some rocket over the top because again, I'm obsessed with rocket. Now sometimes with the pizza, you'll put it in like this and it'll do this in the oven and become like a bowl. I don't know why the pizza mix folds up like that. I don't know why it does. Must be something in the ingredients. But either way, I think the pizza is a really good option if you, again, like to physically eat something. And once again, if you want to make it into a bigger meal, then you can add extra toppings on there. You can add some sweet corn, you can add peppers, anything you fancy, mushrooms, onions, you know, if you want to make it more of a meal and make it 400 calories, then you can add stuff on there too. And then so finally, I have one extra tip for you. This is completely different to the rest of what I've been telling you about. So this is how to make one of the mocktails. So they recently brought out their mocktail burst selection. Now they are all delicious, but my favourite is the pina colada. So if you're like me and you love a pina colada, actually love is the understatement, I'm obsessed with pina coladas. This is the perfect tip for you. So what you want to do is get 200 ml of water, a handful of ice, and then pour your pina colada sachet in, and then add 200 ml of coconut milk, but make sure it's milk and not cream, because coconut cream is when you start to add a lot of calories, but coconut milk is better. So in your cup you should have ice, water, the pina colada sachet and coconut milk. Pop it in a blender, blend it all together, and you have like a slushy iced pina colada, and it is the most delicious mocktail ever. You honestly would think it was a pina colada, but it isn't. If a 200 ml of coconut milk is too much, you can always add more water and less coconut milk. Just makes it a little bit less creamy, but it still tastes good. Do it to whatever fits your taste buds. So guys, that is the end of my tips and tricks video. I really hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up, and I'd love it if you could subscribe to my channel. If you've got any questions about anything that I've spoken about, then either message me on Instagram, which is louwinters, or leave it in the comments below and I'll get back to you down there. And also, if you've got any tips or if you've got any hacks that you want to share, leave it in the comments, because we do like to share and we do like to help each other out. So yeah, any tips you might have, pop them down below. Once again, you can use the code ExanteLou to get yourself 35% off, and I will leave a link in the description box for you to go in and check out Exante as well. Again, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!